Hello. It's me, Nasty Jack. You might be asking yourself, oh hot dang, why does Nasty Jack sound so sad? And I'll tell you why. Today is a bittersweet day, my dudes. This chapter is the last chapter of my Scary House audioboom. I'm sorry folks, but it's true. All good things must come to an end. But don't worry, there will be more coming from yours truly in the future. Well, that is as long as Stan doesn't have anything to do with it, so we'll see. But still, keep your eyes peeled. You won't want to miss out. Anyway, let's get to this dang thing. I love you, my nasties. The Scary House. Chapter 12. The final finale. Written and narrated by Nasty Jack. Sally and I were both in shock at the sight of Pickle Rick. Like, what the frick, how did he not die after the spell was said and the dagger was impaled into his tummy wummy? Pickle Rick let out a loud sinister laugh like this, ha 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 ha. You fools. You think I could be defeated that easily? How elementary of you. Pickle Rick's eyes began to glow red and he began to levitate off the ground. He started trembling, a sick-looking smile on his face. The hair on his body grew twice in length, and he grew at least 1 inch bigger, making him at least 6'9" in that moment. He looked up at us. "You've done it now, you meddling kids," he said. "They'll now experience me in my final form, bigger, faster, and stronger too." I wasn't sure about Sally, but I let out literally everything that was in my bowels into my undies in that exact moment. Oh my gosh, how yucky. Pickle Rick began to charge at us, a menacing laugh coming out of his nasty, gross, dang face. In doing so, I noticed the dagger that was in his body, or maybe it was Mr. Mike's old body or something, I couldn't really figure that out, fell down onto the floor and made a light, delicate cling clang ping pang pong clong sound. How dank. But back to Pickle Rick charging at us. Oh my gosh, I didn't know what to do. I looked to my left, then I looked to my right. Oh dumb, of course, I thought to myself. I reached down and picked up a carton of that good chalky milk that must have somehow ended up right next to me after that intense battle. How convenient. Right as Pickle Rick reached us, I held out the carton of chalky milk and turned my face away, preparing for the worst. Then, nothing happened. I turned my face back toward Pickle Rick. He looked to be in a trance again, staring at the carton of chalky milk. "Pickle Rick," I said aloud. He said nothing. "Hello my dude, are you still in there?" Still nothing. I snapped my fingers and said again, "Boy oh hell, you better say something, cause you are creeping me the heck out." Pickle Rick seemed to snap out of the trance. He looked me in the eyes. I farted extremely loudly like wow whoa hot dang. Before I could speak, Pickle Rick snatched the carton from my hand and then immediately teleported away. Sally and I looked at each other. We quickly got up and ran outside of the flapjack griddle in the dark night. We saw Pickle Rick reappear. He was flying toward the town's water tower, chugging that good chalky milk. Wow, I was actually super jealous of him in that moment. I wish I could fly. I also wish I had some chalky milk on me, but I'm pretty sure we dumped all of it out when we were in the diner. Oh my gosh, this is so wild my dude, what should we do? I asked Sally. If you ask me, she replied, I think we should try to stop that bad boy Pickle Rickle. Well, I'm asking you, genius, so yeah, I said. That sounds like a pretty alright plan. Okay then, she said, let's yell out of here and chase after him. Okay, gimme 1 second please. I ran back into the diner and grabbed the dagger from where Pickle Rickle was, and slipped it into my ankle sheath. I ran back out to Sally, who was lying on her back in the street. Hey bro, you good? I asked. She let out a snort. Boy oh howdy, this chick was asleep, and at this hour, oh my goodness, there's so much on the line right now. I bent down and shook her awake. Sally my dude, wake up please, wake up, you better frickin' wake up or our whole town will be toast. Sally blinked her eyes open and said, "Oh hey Nasty Jack, sorry you were taking a while so I decided to take a nap." "Dude, what the frick, I was gone for like no more than 13 seconds, how could you fall asleep in that time?" I replied. "Oh lol," she replied. "It's not that big of a deal I guess. Anyway, are we gonna go after Pickle Rickle?" "Yeah," I responded. "But I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna be able to defeat him. We used the dagger and the spell and it didn't seem to finish him off completely. We might have to figure something out along the way." I looked around at the surrounding streets. There were so many people out trick-or-treating at this point in the night. Yikes, I thought to myself. I really hope people don't get put in danger in case we break out into some massive battle with Pickle Rickle. I looked at Sally and she let out a big ole fart. "Wow, you're so beautiful," I said. "Yeah sure thanks, I guess you're kind of growing on me too after everything that's happened," Sally replied, "but anything between us is never gonna happen, just so you know." I looked down at the ground, feeling a little blue. "'Kay," I said. "Don't feel so bad Nasty Jack," Sally replied, "you just don't have any game. Anyway, let's go after Pickle Rick." And with that, the two of us started down the street toward the water tower. Ad break. Hello my nasties, I hope you've been enjoying this episode so far. I know you're all probably super sad that this is the last episode for this audio boom, but don't fret. Your boy Nasty Jack isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, maybe the bathroom, but that's besides the point. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Stan is like legit dead or something, cause I still haven't heard from him in like at least 5 hours and he's always on my case about everything. Frick that guy. But even though Stan is out of commission, I figured we better talk about our sponsors for today's chapter. Our first sponsor is the Best Way Rapid Rider 4-person inflatable floating island swimming pool island draft pool party tube. Holy wow, I can't believe these things are so cool. You can invite all 3 of your friends to your family's cabin and take it out on the lake with the whole freaking load of ICs and talk about your favorite Pokemon for like legit 2 hours and then turn into a bona fide water salesman trying to sell the water for, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're selling them inside for $5.99. We have them here for only $3.99. Wow, I can't believe it. Holy wow, I've never seen anything like it on this side of the oh my gosh hot thing. You need to go out and fricking buy one please. Our next sponsor for today's video is Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Think you can throw my piece up there? Yeah okay, good luck. It's on the opposite side of the level on top of some obscure roof that's impossible to get to. This game is pretty great, firstly because it's a Tony Hawk game, which sometimes automatically makes it good, but also it's so cool because you can create your own tricks in the game. It's really cool cause the tricks are so realistic but also funny, like when they do an 1800 Christ tear while farting and playing the guitar. Hot dang, it's so dank like Blaze 320. Alright my nasties, thanks for listening to these 666666666 healthy ads. Okay, let's get back to the show. There were throngs of people walking around town that night. So many kiddos dressed as superheroes, and adults were also dressed as superheroes, taking their superhero kiddos around, and teenagers who didn't dress up at all. How lame. Also, why the frick are so many people dressed up as superheroes? It's almost like there was some kind of large movie franchise that recently had some sort of grand resolution or something. Anyway, Sally and I pushed our way through the crowds of people. It was hard, like trying to push a 2-week-old poop out of your booty after just overcoming a bout of mad constipation. Suddenly we heard a bone-chilling cackle in the distance. It sounded kind of like this. Sally and I looked up toward the water tower. It was Pickle Rickle. He was standing on the water tower's outer walkway, looking down over the whole town. Everyone else around had stopped and looked up at him. One man in the crowd was like, wow, that dude has a pretty sick, nasty, tasty, healthy costume. He must have spent a lot of money on that thing. Wow, I'm so jealous, hee. I looked over at him and slapped him right in his frickin' face. Dude, that's not a costume, that's real, I said. The man looked at me and was like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever you say. I honestly don't believe you, since tonight is conveniently Halloween and you saying that his costume is real, and if it were actually real, would be an overused trope. Okay, that made no sense, I responded. Then I slapped him in the face again and then drew my attention back to Pickle Rickle. Seeing his glowing red eyes and ultra-hairy scary form sent goose pimples all down my neck, back, and booty. Wow, this was so surreal, like holy wow, I couldn't believe it. Pickle Rickle began to speak. Hello all you peeps out there. Wow, you guys all look like ants from up here, lol, it's actually kind of cute. Oh. Anyway, if you don't mind, I would like to monologue right now. For too long I've walked in the shadows of everyone here in this godforsaken town. All you people are idiots, fools, swine. Meandering around, sticking your nose in places you shouldn't, traveling in time, trying to do sick tricks on stupid BMX bikes. I leaned over to Sally. Wow, I feel super attacked right now, gee whiz. Pickle Rickle continued, because of your naivety, your foolishness, and your uncompassionate hearts, I will bring ruin upon this town, ruin like you've never seen before, even in your darkest of dreams. When I'm through, this town will be nothing but trouble, and I'll continue on moving from town to town, destroying everything, stealing their entire supply of chalky milk and sweet sour video games and Nintendo Switches, and you can all thank Nasty Jack. The entire crowd started looking around, looking super confused. I honestly don't think anyone knew who I was. Lol, what a relief. Hee. You idiots. Pickle Rickle said. He's right there. Pickle Rickle pointed his hairy finger at me. Everyone in the crowd started booing and throwing all their gross cheap candy at me. I felt so bad, like wow, people hated me so much in that moment I wanted to cry, and in fact I did. Boo-hoo. Without skipping a beat, Pickle Rickle put his hand out at his sides. In each hand there formed what looked to be flames. Oh hot dang, we were in for it now. Pickle Rick began shooting fireballs down at the town. Everyone in the crowd began to scream, running this way and that way and this. Fireballs were landing in the street, people avoiding them as best as they could. Buildings were also catching on fire. It was a big ol' a ding-dang-ding-ailing mess fest. Sally looked me in the eyes. Nasty Jack, let's go. We're the only ones who can save the town. She started running toward the water tower and they followed, taking a side road that would be less noticeable to Pickle Rickle. As we were running I yelled to her amidst all the hoopla. How are we going to defeat him, I asked. Remember how it didn't work last time? I'm not entirely sure, she said, but we'll figure it out. When she was done speaking, Sally started reciting a spell and put her hands out toward the buildings that were on fire. When she finished the spell, a light blue mist came out of her hands that doused the surrounding fires. Holy crap, how the frick did you know how to do that, I asked. Yeah, you remember that YouTube video Mr. Mike showed me? Sally responded. It just so happened to teach you a spell to put out fires if a bad guy is setting your town on fire, which is like super convenient for the situation we're in right now. Wow, that's so cool. I responded. Sally continued to put out fires as we ran toward the bottom of the water tower. We reached the bottom and began to climb the ladder that led to the top. Holy wow, I really wish I had been training my lungs, heart, and just overall cardiovascular system for today. I was dying. Sally looked down at me while we were climbing the ladder. Nasty Jack, you really need to hurry up before Pickle Rickle does any more damage. Yeah dude, I'm going as fast as I can, I responded. Well, you could have fooled me, she said. You're going slower than a herd of snails traveling through peanut butter. With that she reached her hand toward me and quickly said a spell. I launched up through the air and landed straight on my big fat booty on the walkway. Ouchie. Sally joined me a moment later. Okay, wow, I said, I guess you can just do magic willy-nilly now, can't you? Yeah, basically, she responded. Pretty sweet, right? Yeah, sure, whatever, I said. I stood up and pulled the dagger from its sheath. I slowly made my way around the water tower to where Pickle Rickle was, Sally close behind me. I stepped on a loose board and it made a loud creaking noise like oh and then Pickle Rickle looked over his shoulder to see us standing there. So you've come to meet your demise, he said. No, we're actually just here to kill you, I responded. Your days of drinking chalky milk and being a creepy hairy boy man child old man are over. You also killed Mr. Mike, who was my close second best friend only after George Washington. For that, I'm gonna bone you like the noob you are. Okay, sure, Pickle Rickle responded, go ahead and give it your best. Right at that exact moment Pickle Rickle began shooting fireballs at us. I jumped out of the way and slammed into the railing, almost falling from the water tower. The fireballs flew over our heads and Sally quickly said another spell. It seemed to be some kind of ward that prevented the fireballs from hitting us. I looked at Sally. My girl, you need to say the spell that will weaken Pickle Rickle. Okay, yeah, I know that, genius, but I can only cast one spell at a time. That's kind of how magic works, and I can't stop casting this ward or else we'll be totally toast like fresh bread being toasted in a brand new toaster. Oh my gosh, do you love toast too? I asked. Nasty Jack, please shut up and focus, she said. Alright, okay, here we go. I looked down at the dagger in my hand and noticed another smaller inscription on the other side of the blade. Oddly enough, the first word said, instructions. Intrigued, I continued to read as we were being pelted with fireballs. Here's what the inscription said. In the off chance that you're faced with an adversary of great magical ability, you will need to use this knife along with the appropriate spell to defeat him. Step 1. Hold the knife in your hand. Step 2. Recite the spell. Step 3. Stab the adversary. Make sure you stab your enemy in his heart or he will probably come back to life by consuming the dead body of one of your new best friends. Wow, this dagger was uncannily accurate to my life. Okay, so that makes total sense that Pickle Rickle didn't totally die the first time since he wasn't stabbed in his heart. I looked up. Pickle Rickle seemed to grow more and more infuriated that his fireballs weren't killing us. He put his arms above his head and a massive fireball began to form in his hands. Sally looked on in fear at the impending doom of the fire. Pickle Rickle let it loose at us and it broke Sally's ward. He gave a sinister smile. But in that same moment water began to flow over our feet. We all looked over and saw that Pickle Rickle had created a crack in the water tower, and the crack continued to grow as we frantically tried to figure out what to do. Sally began reciting the spell to weaken Pickle Rickle while he was distracted by the water and he began to convulse, letting out a blood-curdling scream. More and more water began to pour out of the water tower, almost to the point that we couldn't even stand. With what little time I had left I lunged toward Pickle Rickle, the dagger clasped in my hand. With one swift motion like a frickin' ninja I sunk the dagger right into Pickle Rickle's heart. His eyes burst into flames and he screamed like this. No. Right at that moment the water tower completely burst and the entire structure came crashing down. Sally and I were brought down along with it and everything went black. I woke up moments later in a patch of grass and saw that all the fire on the buildings had been put out. Sally laid on the grass, propping herself up on her elbow. Pickle Rickle also laid flat on the ground, the blade still protruding from his chest that seemed to be slowly moving up and down. I crawled over to him. Nasty Jack, he said. Hey dude, I'm here, I replied. Oh hey my guy, he said, you really did it. You've defeated me like for real legit this time. You've punctured my heart, both literally and figuratively. It was my deepest desire to see you dead, Nasty Jack. Okay, wow, you're actually insane. Unless you have anything that's actually constructive to say, I think Sally and I are just gonna peace out. Yes, I do have one last thing for you, Nasty Jack, he replied. Pickle Rickle reached into his pants pocket. He pulled out a bag of sunflower seeds and handed them to me. Here, I want you to have these as a lasting memory of this day. Actually no thanks, I don't like sunflower seeds, I said, and then I threw the bag away and then laughed like the slow. Pickle Rickle stared into my eyes and I stared into his. Slowly he began to fade away, and tears began to fall from his eyes. He breathed his last breath and he was gone. Pickle Rickle had been defeated. A few weeks later, Sally and I were at the Flapjack Griddle getting lunch and catching up with each other. We hadn't had time to see each other since after the night of Pickle Rickle's defeat. Boy oh honey, this spaghetti is legit dankness, Sally said. I stared at her with disgust as she devoured a massive Olay plate of that good Italian noodle meal. It was honestly horrifying. I took a bite of the grilled cheese sandwich sitting in front of me. It was such a good yummy yummers, wow, I loved it. Cheese. Wow. Bread. Wow. Hot thing. Anyway Sally, I said, how are your efforts to find your mama going? Yeah, so about that, she started. It's been so complicated with us having gone back in time a few times and there's been so much crazy stuff happening that I forgot that Mr. Mike still turned my mama into the beast and he still blew up his house, killing her in the process. Sally shed a single tear and it fell into her spaghetti and she still ate it, like yuck, what the frick. Oh, I said. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I actually totally forgot about that too. That's so sad, my dude. Yeah, I'm moving past it now, she replied. Everything works out for the best, I suppose. Anyway, what have you been up to? Oh, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I laughed like this lol, trying to play it off as best as I could. I didn't want Sally to know that I've literally just been sitting on my big fat booty playing Breath of the Wild like legit all day every day for the past few weeks. Okay, I guess as long as you're happy and doing well, Sally said. Oh yeah, you know me, I replied. I let out a little fart to try to ease the awkward tension. The two of us finished our food and walked out of the diner. When the doors closed behind us, a huge gust of wind passed in front of us and it almost stripped my undies right off of my thick booty. A sort of weird hole or circular window began to form. We could see into it and there seemed to be some sort of crazy commotion going on inside. Before I could do or say anything, legit like 20 bald eagles flew out of the portal and a man appeared in front of us. It was George Washington. He extended his hand toward us. Nasty Jack. Sally. My dudes. I need your help. Something happened to Abigail Proctor, and I can't solve it without you. This audiobook is copyrighted by Nasty Jack Cool Storytime Incorporated. I love you, my nasties.